בבל, שם ישבנו גם בכינו בזוכרנו את ציון, על ערבים בתוכה תלינו כנורותינו, כי שם שלונו שובנו דברי שיר ותוללנו שמחה. שיר לנו משיר ציון, איך נשיר את שיר השם על אדמת נחל, עם אשכחך ירושלים, תשכח ימיני, תדבק לשוני לחיכי, אם לא אזכרכי, אם לא עלק.
ברשות מוריי ורבותיי, with the permission of Hashem, today we will try to explain a little bit about Korah, the connection between the Parashat Korah and the Parasha of Hukat. Parasha of Hukat is the Parasha of Para Aduma, and we will try to explain the Parasha of Korah. We all know that Korah, he did a big revolution against Moshe Rabbeinu, and at the end he died. At the end he was punished. And the parasha of Hukat, it's a parasha of it's a law of Hukat Para Aduma. You know, it was a red cow that they used to burn it, and with the dishes of this red cow they used to purify people who were impure. Something that it's we do not understand. We try to understand. Even Shlomo HaMelech alav shalom, he said, "Amarti ehkema v'rechuka mimeni." Even Moshe Rabbeinu, he couldn't understand. Even Shlomo HaMelech, he could not understand this kind of law, that if somebody is impure, you throw on him dishes, a little bit of afa, dust of the Para Aduma, and that means it's a cow that you do shrita to the cow, then they burned it, and then with the dust of the Para Aduma, you throw it on the impure man, it becomes pure. It is now. No, we don't understand. We don't understand what is the connection. I mean, somebody that is impure, he could go to the mikveh and it become pure. We don't understand why somebody that is impure, the only way that he become impure, you have to throw on him this dust of Para Aduma. But today, of course, there is no Para Aduma today. So today, all the Jews are beheskat me'im. All the Jews are, we consider like Tameh. When Mashiach will come, Be'ez Hashem, the Mikdash will be built. So Mashiach will, Hashem will purify with this new Para Aduma, that it will appear miracle, with a big miracle. Well, now, what it is the connection between Korah and Para Aduma? And there is some of Chazal, some of our Chachamim, who said that Korah, he was laughing at this mitzvah of Para Aduma. He was laughing. And of course, not only that he was laughing, besides he was laughing, but for somebody like Korah to laugh about a mitzvah, it's not fair, it's not good. It's very, 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 very. It's like if you say a rabbi who is making a joke about a mitzvah. I mean, from the rabbis we learn how to respect mitzvot. From rabbis, if you say a rabbi, it's a big chilul Hashem. If you say a rabbi who make a laugh, who make a joke on a mitzvah, I mean, there is nothing left to what can you teach? What can you learn from the rabbi? And we saw as well the connection between Parashat Korah and Parashat Shlach Lecha, because at the end of the Parashat Shlach Lecha, the Torah mentioned about the talit, tzitzit, that we should have tzitzit. And the question is, what the connection between the story of Korah and the mitzvah of tzitzit? So Hachamim said again that Korach was laughing at its mitzvah. Korach was making a joke about the mitzvah of tzitzit. My friend, what I want to understand, what happened exactly to Korach? To make jokes about tzitzit, to make jokes about paraduma. What happened exactly in his mind? I mean, here we're not talking about a normal man. Here we're talking about a man who was a big tzaddik, Korach. The Gemara said that Korach, he was minus Aaron. He was one of those who used to take the arch, the holy arch, in his shoulder. He was not a normal man. He was a big tzaddik. And Korach, he was from the family of Moshe Rabbeinu. And Korach, he was a prophet. He was a Navi. Korach, he was a rich man. And Korach, he had a big avodah in the Beit HaMikdash. He used to work in the Beit HaMikdash. He was not a normal man. Just imagine the big influence he had, Korach. When he spoke to the Jews, nearly everybody followed him. All the Sanhedrin, 250 big rabbis, the biggest rabbis of all time, that they were in his generation, they followed him. That means he has a big hashpah. Yes or no?
Yes.
So he has a big hashpah. So what happened exactly? Why Korach? He went against Moshe Rabbeinu on one hand, and on the other hand, he make a joke about mitzvot. He make a joke about mitzvot. I mean, can you imagine a rabbi who makes jokes about mitzvot? It's just imagine me making a joke about the tzitzit. I mean, it's like to be an epikuros. I mean, it's impossible to believe that. How can you imagine that? How can you imagine that? To make a joke about a mitzvah of tzitzit, to make a joke about the mitzvah of paraduma. I mean, how? You know, there is a lot of mitzvot that we don't know the reason of those mitzvot. There is no reason. It's a hawk. It's a hawk. Why Hashem did that? There is mitzvot that there is no reason. It's simple. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He wanted that, like Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech, he was the most intelligent man in the world. ויחכם שלמה מכל האדם. We never had a big man, intelligent man, a clever man like Shlomo HaMelech. He knew all the language of animals. He knew everything, Shlomo HaMelech, the King Shlomo. And he knew all the reason of the mitzvot. Each mitzvah that Hashem gave us, Shlomo HaMelech, he knew the reason of the mitzvah. With his search, he knew, you know, the Gemara said that a lot of mitzvot we couldn't understand them. So Shlomo HaMelech came and he gave the reason to this mitzvot. So now people they started to do them with joy. I mean, there is a difference when you do something with no reason, or something that you know the reason why you do it. Shlomo HaMelech alav shalom, he gave the reason of most of the mitzvot. So everybody was super happy with Shlomo HaMelech. Asna oznaim laTorah. It's like you know a hot dish that you cannot hold him unless if you have the holders. You know, there is hands where to hold the dish, because it's a hot dish. So at the time of Shlomo HaMelech, no one could. There was a lot of mitzvot that no one could understand them. So Shlomo HaMelech came and gave a reason to do this mitzvot. So even Shlomo HaMelech, he wanted to know the reason of the mitzvah of paraduma. And what he said at the end, Amarti hkema. I wanted to be more intelligent. Even that Hashem, He gave me intelligent. Baruch Hashem, I am intelligent. But I wanted to be more intelligent. How? By knowing the reason of paraduma. Why this paraduma? It has this a man who is impure with the afar, with the, how do you say afar?
Ashes.
With the ashes of the paraduma, when you burn the paraduma, the ashes of the paraduma, you make it the man become pure. And a man who is pure, and when he burned the paraduma, when he touches the ashes, he's impure. It's a contradiction. I mean, it's a big contradiction. This man that is pure, and because he burned the paraduma, he become impure. What the reason? There is something missing here. So Shlomo Melech Alav Hashem, he said, Amarti ehkema. I want you to be more intelligent. Baruch Hashem, I am intelligent. I am the most intelligent man in the world. But this mitzvah of paraduma, I do not understand. So Shlomo Melech, he wanted to know the reason. Amarti ehkema. V'yerechuka mimeni. And Shlomo Melech, he said at the end, I couldn't understand the reason of this paraduma. I understand everything except that. Now the question is, why Hashem, he didn't want us to know the reason of paraduma? Why? Why only Moshe Rabbeinu knew the reason of this mitzvah of paraduma? Why not Shlomo Melech? Why not us? Why only Moshe Rabbeinu? Why we couldn't understand the mitzvah of paraduma? You know, I was thinking, listen to this. It's fabulous what I'm going to tell you. A lot of times, when people ask me questions, sometimes I listen to questions, but I don't have answers. And I break my head to understand the answer, to understand more the question, to give an answer. But instead of giving an answer, I have more questions, and I have more answers for other questions. But the question that, hello?
Yes.
But the questions that they ask me, I have no answer. But you see, it's incredible. This is the Kuwah of the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he is very clever. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us a lot of mitzvot that it's a hok, it's a law. We have no answers. We should break our head to understand the answers. And sometimes it could take thousands of years. And everyone is going to say something. And after I will come and I will say something. All rabbis, you see the Torah, it's become large. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he said, if I give answers and reasons to everything, so no one will search for the Torah. It will be easy for everybody. If the Bnei Israel would not do the Egel, or if Adam HaRishon would not do the Avera, so at the Torah it will be easy for everybody. There will be no question at all. There is no Chidush. But when there is Amalah Shel Torah, when you want to understand, when there is questions, you have to understand. So this one he said this, the other one he said that, the other one he said this, and then at the end we all agree. Then there is somebody else who asked question about what I said, if everybody was agreed. So the Torah, there has no end. Understand? The Torah has no end. And that way HaKadosh Baruch Hu left a mitzvah that no one can understand the reason of this mitzvah. Why? So always we'll be fighting to understand. Now I would like just to tell you this. Korah, he was a big man. Korah, he couldn't accept that Moshe understand the mitzvah of paraduma. And Korah, he couldn't understand. Why? I don't understand. Korah, it was very hard for him to accept that Moshe knows and he doesn't know. Huh? Do you understand me? Now the question is, why did Moshe he was the only one who understood the mitzvah of Paraduma. Why only Moshe? You know why? Because we say Moshe Emet v'Torato Emet. Moshe Emet and his Torah is Emet. What does it mean Emet? Emet is true. And what it is true when you understand everything. So Moshe, he was Emet, and his Torah was Emet. When we say Moshe Emet and his Torah was Emet, because of Korah. Because Korah, he did not accept that Moshe understand the mitzvah of Paraduma. He didn't accept why Moshe, he know the mitzvah of Paraduma, and he, Korah, he couldn't accept it. He did not understand it, so he couldn't accept it. It was very hard for him to accept this. So that's why Moshe Emet, even that Korah, he did not accept. That doesn't make, God forbid, Haz v'Shalom, that the Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu or Moshe Rabbeinu himself is not Emet. You understand? You understand me? Huh?
Yes.
I would like to tell you this. I would like to ask you one question. It's a little bit Kabbalah. And I would like you to tell me if you have an answer for that. When the Meraglim, they went to spy Eretz Israel, it said in the Torah, Ve'yamim bikore anavim. The time that they went, it was bikore anavim. It was the time that the raisin, the grapes, started to grow. What the Torah want to tell me here about this? What I mean, what this pasuk, this verse, this pasuk that at the time that the spies want to spy Eretz Israel, it was the time of Bikore Anavim. It was the time that the grapes started to grow. What difference does it make me if the grapes started to grow or not to grow? What do I learn from that? Tell me.
Is it to do with a sword, a secret?
Ah, there is a sword. This is a secret. Well, what it is a secret? Yamim bikore anavim hem. What it is a secret? Of course, if the Torah said that in the Torah, when the spies, when the people want to spy Eretz Israel, if the Torah said why they went to Eretz Israel, it was a time of bikore anavim. It's the time that the grapes started to grow. Ah, it's a big secret. What it is a secret? What secret is hiding? It's hiding here. I mean, every word that the Torah said, it's for a reason. It's like the Torah said, "Vayikach Korach ben Yitzhar ben Kehat ben Levi," not ben Yaakov.
Right.
The Torah, why the Torah don't say ben Yaakov? Because Yaakov he prayed to Hashem. Yaakov he said to Hashem, "Please Hashem, don't mention my name with this man." Because this man, he fight Moshe and Aaron. I don't want my name to be involved. Please Hashem. So I have one question for you, Mister. A big question I have for you. If people are fighting to have their name in the Torah, when Yaakov, I mean, every name, every letter in the Torah, it's the name of God. Yes or no? Every name, every word in the Torah, it's HaTorah Yeshimotav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I mean, even if the Torah said Korah or the Torah said Yaakov, it's name. Even if the Torah said Bil'am, it's among the names of Hashem. So why did Yaakov Abinu, he wanted that his name was missing, will be missing from this parasha? I mean, Yaakov, even that your name is connected to Korah, that he was not, that he was a fighter, but every letter in the Torah, it's the names of Hashem. I mean, why? I mean, even if the Torah speak about Bilam, the word Bilam, even if the Torah speak about Amalek, every letter, every word in the Torah had a connection with the names of Hashem. So, if the Torah will write Yaakov, it's the name of Hashem. And beside this, if Hashem had to write the name of Yaakov, the Torah, who is Yaakov to say, not write my name, the Torah? How did Hashem accept that? You like the questions?
Yes, very good.
No, you have an answer.
It's better to be not mentioned than to be mentioned with Russia.
Look, the Torah write about Amalek, yes?
Yeah.
And Amalek was a Rasha, yes or no?
Yeah.
And now, just I would ask you one question. Just let's say that you have a Sefer Torah, and there is there the word of Amalek missing. Is the Sefer Torah is kosher or not?
No.
So how the word of Yaakov is missing is kosher? Because Yaakov he prayed to Hashem, please Hashem. That means that there is a meaning that Hashem wanted to write Yaakov. And Yaakov said, please Hashem, don't write my name. Any name, even if there is a name of a Rasha in the Torah, it's important. That name will make the Sefer Torah kosher. Every name, I mean, look, when you say Sefer Torah, you kiss him or not?
Yes.
But there is there the name of Amalek in the Sefer Torah. So you kiss the name of Amalek? No? I'm right or not?
Yes.
So that means all names, even the names of the Kshaim, any kind of word in the Torah, it's the names of Hashem.
Yes.
So we have a question now. First, we want to understand why the Torah said Vayamim B'Kol Anavi. What the Torah said when the spies went to Israel. At that moment, it was the time of the grapes, when the tree of the grapes starts growing from earth. What the Torah want to tell me about this? First, and the second about Yaakov, that he didn't want that his name will be mentioned in the Torah. Listen to this, you will love it. You will listen a big secret, a big sod of the Torah. You know, the Bnei Israel, I would like now to go back to the creation of the world. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam HaRishon, who was Adam HaRishon? He was Bechor, yes or no?
Yeah.
He was the first man that Hashem created. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him, you can eat all kind of fruits, except that fruit. What fruit was? The grapes. What was that Etz Hadat? Anavim. Anavim. The grapes. So the Gemara said, the Kabbalah said that Adam he did not eat the grapes, but he took the raisin and he made a grape juice and he drank it, and that's why we do kiddush on Erev Shabbos.
Okay.
Why we do kiddush with the wine on Erev Shabbos? Because of Adam HaRishon, today there is death. Because Adam Arishon HaKadosh Baruch Hu forbidden him to eat, to drink from to eat the grapes and to drink from to eat the grape, and Adam Arishon he did it. So on Erev Shabbos we are metaken, we repair the avera of Adam Arishon. We repair the avera of Adam Arishon, because that's why Adam Arishon he did the avera, he did the sin on Erev Shabbos. So that's why Erev Shabbos we do the kiddush with the red wine, so that we can repair, because Adam Arishon he did what he did with forbiddenness. So now we do it with permission, and that's why we do Nisuch Hayayin. That's why we use the wine in the Beit HaMikdash when we do korbanot. All this to that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will forgive completely the sin of Adam Arishon. So we are mitaken the avera of the Bechor. Now, when the Meraglim went to Eretz Israel, that was before they spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel. That was before Moshe Rabbeinu, he was forbidden to enter Eretz Israel. So that means even that the Meraglim, they went to Eretz Israel with not the permission of Hashem, but Moshe Rabbeinu, he told them, look, now Hashem, he said that Eretz Israel is good, and you don't need to go to spy, but you want to go to spy, okay, you can go and spy, but don't forget, by going to spy Eretz Israel, and you will come and talk good about Eretz Israel, so we will repair the sin of the Bechor of Adam Arishon, because he eat from the forbidden tree. That the meaning ve'ayamim yimei bikorei anavim. That means by going to spy Eretz Israel, be careful. If you want that will be mitaken the head of Adam Arishon, because Adam Arishon he was the Bechor, he was the firstborn, and because of what he did, so we will repair the avera that he did Adam Arishon. We will repair the avera that Adam Arishon did with the anavim. Do you like it?
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Adam Arishon, he was the Bachor, and he made us a avera of taking the tree of the eight dust. The tree was a geffen, was grapes, and he made wine. So that's why we do on Shabbat. We have kiddush and a tikkun for the avera of Adam Arishon. And the Meraglim, they went to Eretz Yisrael to bring the eshkol, to bring the fruit from Eretz Yisrael, which was the tree of the geffen, and it was a tikkun. They told them to make a tikkun of the avera of Adam Arishon. Fabulous. You are fantastic. Now we understand when the Meraglim came from Eretz Israel, they bring with them a big eshkol. Why they bring with them eshkol? Why? Because they wanted to mention and when they bring the eshkol, they started to make a joke with the eshkol. It's like they did not repair it, and then they started to talk Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel. So they missed their goal. Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, he wanted them to go to Eretz Israel, so they will spy Eretz Israel, to bring an eshkol, to be miktaken, the head of the Bechor Adam Arishon, by talking good about Eretz Israel. But unfortunately, they bring the eshkol, and they started to make jokes about the eshkol. Now we understand something extraordinary. Now we understand why Korah, the Torah not mentioned Yaakov. Why? Because Yaakov Abinu alav shalom, he said to Hashem, Ribono shel Olam, even that Yaakov is the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even that Yaakov is names of Hashem, I don't want my name to be in the Torah. Why? Because when there is mahloket on the Torah,
I don't want to be, because Yaakov Abinu Alav Shalom, he was Ish Emet. He was a man. Yaakov Ishtam Yosef Ohalim. Yaakov, he was a man of Torah. Titel Emet Yaakov. All the life of Yaakov Abinu was Torah. And he couldn't understand how Korah, who was supposed to be a big tzaddik, how can he speak bad about the Torah? You understand? You understand me? That's why Yaakov Abinu Alav Shalom, he didn't want that his name was mentioned. Because Yaakov, he was Ish Emet. And here, Korah is not Emet. Korah is fighting about Para Aduma. He's making jokes about Para Aduma. Korah is making jokes about Talit, about Tzitzit. And Yaakov Abinu Alav Shalom, he was Ishtam Yosef Ohalim. All his life was Torah. He couldn't understand, he couldn't believe. He was not happy. I would like to tell you this. You know what the Gemara said? The Gemara said, when Hashem wanted to give the Torah to the Bnei Israel, Hashem said to the Bnei Israel, I want a guarantee. Because, look, if you go to buy a house, and you want to take a loan from the bank, what the bank asks you? A guarantee. If you want to hire a house, the landlord, he wants a guarantee. He doesn't know you. Can you tell him, I am the guarantee? He tell you, but I don't know you. So you need to bring some good people to be guaranteed. So Hashem said to Israel, you have a guarantee because I'm going to give you the best business. It's Torah. So they told him, well, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, do will be a guarantee. So Hashem said, no. Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, even for them, I want a guarantee. They cannot guarantee you. So they said, will be the guarantee. No, you cannot be the guarantee. You need a guarantee. So they said, our children will be the guarantee. Hashem said, okay, your children will be the guarantee. So the question is, if you go to the bank to borrow $100 million, can you tell them, and they will ask you a guarantee, would you tell them, I'll give you my children guarantee? So how did Hashem? I mean, it's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give the Torah to the Bnei Israel. He did not accept the fathers. He did not accept the guarantee, but he accepted the children. How can a child be a guarantee? Huh?
Good question.
Good question. You see, good question. You know what the answer is? Here we are not talking about money. Here we are not talking business, real business. Here we are talking spiritual. Usually a father, he loves his children. You understand?
Yeah.
A father, he holds his child. He loves his child. He will give his life for his child. Never a father will allow that his child will be in danger.
Right.
That's what Hashem, when the Bnei Israel said, our children will be guaranteed, that means if we don't do Torah mitzvot, so our children are guaranteed. Can you imagine? That means you do from our children what you want. You punish them. So of course it's a good guarantee. So now you understand the hiyuv, the obligation that a father has toward his child. By keeping Torah mitzvot, he knows that his children are saved. You understand? But not keeping Torah mitzvot, His children are not saved. This is the problem. This is the problem. People know that. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gives the Torah, the only reason why he gives the Torah until he receives a guarantee from the parents. A guarantee from the parents. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he gives the Torah to the Bnei Israel, he gives them Torah with all kind of mitzvot. Mitzvot that we understand, mitzvot that we don't understand. Now we understand why Korach was punished. Not only Korach, even his children were punished. All the children were punished. Why? Because Korach, he started to make laugh about mitzvot. And by making laugh about mitzvot, his children that they were responsible, they were guaranteed. So he lost his guarantee. Understand? So they were punished. Korach, he was minus'eh Aaron. Korach, he was holding the Aaron. One among those who were holding the Aaron. Tell me, what it was on the Aaron? Cherubim. Why cherubim? And the cherubim, they look like what? Like children. Why those children, why those cherubim, they were on the Aaron like children? To remind you, hey, you have the Torah here, and your children are the guarantee. Your children are the guarantee. Are the guarantee, are Arivim. You have to make that in your mind all your life. Hashem, you want to tell Am Israel. And Korach, every day he was holding the Aaron, and every time he was looking at the cherubim. And that should make him understand that by going against Moshe and Aaron and make laugh on the Torah, he's making his children on danger. And he did not do that. They were punished. So the question is, how did Korach came to that problem? How? The Torah said, "Item oto schatem va'asitem." I want you to listen to this, please. Okay? This is the best. The Torah said, by looking the mitzvot, by looking at the tzitzit, you will remind that Hashem give you mitzvot, and then you will do them. Tzitzit Gematria 600, with the 5 ksharim on the tzitzit, plus the 8 chotim, 8 how do you call chotim? With the 8 strings, it's how much altogether? 613. So that means when you look at tzitzit, it reminds you that you have 613 mitzvot to do. By looking, you remember. When you remember, you do. Okay? Korach, because he was tzaddik, he was prophet, he was handsome, he was big man, he was rich. He said to himself, I don't need to look at the tzitzit to become a big tzaddik. I already look the Aaron every day. I don't need. This is the Ga'ava. If Hashem he said you have to look, Hashem he said to even Moshe Rabbeinu, he should look. Hashem he did not give the Torah to rabbis, to those who has no Yitzhara. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah to everybody, to the tzaddikim, to the reshaim, to the binunim, to the middle classes, to the big tzaddikim. I mean, not because you're a tzaddik, you can tell yourself, well, I am a tzaddik, I don't need to see the tzitzit to remember mitzvot to do. You understand? And that was the mistake of Korah. Because Korah, he thought, because there was a techelet and the tzitzit. Why there is techelet? Tell me why.
The same color as Shamayim.
Because the color of the Shamayim is techelet. And the throne, the chair, the kisei hakavod is blue, techelet. So when you see your tzitzit, it reminds you, it connects you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it connects you to Hashem. Korah, he said, I'm already connected. I am connected direct through the Aron. I am minus Aaron. I hold the Aron, the arch, the holy arch. I look at it every day. I am connected. I don't need to look at the tzitzit. I don't need that. And because he didn't look at the tzitzit, so he started to go down. He started to envy the position of Moshe. He started to envy the Ava, the position of Aaron. And then he started to be jealous, and then he wanted covered. And the Pekavot said, Hagava ve'ta'ava ve'akavod mutzi'in et ha'adam min ha'olam. You see, HaKadosh will give us Torah. Through the Torah, you fight the Ga'ava. Through the Torah, you fight the Kavod. Through the Torah, you fight the Kin'ah. But if you think that you don't need this, you can you are enough strong to fight the Ga'ava, the Kavod, and Kin'ah without the Torah, so it's a mistake you did. You know, Shlomo Melech, he was punished because the Torah said you should not have a lot of women. And he said, I am a Hacham, I'm a Tzaddik, I can have a lot of women, I will not do the Avera. The Torah said you should not go back to Egypt. So Shlomo Melech, the king Shlomo, said, I can go back to Egypt, and I will not stay there. The Torah said a king should not have a lot of money, and Shlomo Melech, he said, I am enough Hacham, I am enough intelligent, I can make a lot of money, and I will not become a Rasha. So the Torah went to Hashem. She said, Ribono shel Olam, look Shlomo Melech what he's doing. You said not to have a lot of women, he had 1,000 women. You said not to have a lot of horses, so because that they will not have to go to Egypt to bring horses from there. He went to Egypt to bring horses from there. You said in the Torah not to keep a lot of gold and diamond. Look what he's doing, Shlomo Melech. So Hashem and the Torah said to Hashem, even though that Shlomo Melech is always a tzaddik, but he did not respect the Torah. And the Gemara said, Kol ha'omer Shlomo hata eno lato'eh. Anyone who said that Shlomo Melech did a sin, he's doing a mistake. Never Shlomo Melech, he had done a mistake in his life. He was a big tzaddik. Even that he did those 3 averot, he was always a big tzaddik. But Hashem punished him. Why? Because when the Torah writes something in the Torah, you should do it. You understand? Not because you are Shlomo Melech, you can not respect what the Torah said. When Hashem said, don't have a lot of women, it said even for Shlomo, even for Moshe Rabbeinu, for everybody, even if you are a big tzaddik. Because the Torah, it's not only for the binunim. The Torah, it's for everybody. So you understand now, this is what happened to Korah. אמרתי אחכמה, והיא רחוקה ממני. רחוקה, it's Shlomo Melech who said רחוקה. No, if you are clever, tell me what it is rehoka.
It's far, huh?
Huh?
Far.
Far, yes?
Yes, far away.
Far away. Rehoka is the same letters of Korah. Ay! Hey! Huh? אמרתי החכמה, שלמה המלך עליו השלום. He said, Korah, he was mad. Korah, he was jealous for Moshe Rabbeinu. Korah, he was very intelligent. Korah, he knew everything. He was among those who hold the Aaron. Korah, he was a big tzaddik. And he was jealous for Moshe Rabbeinu because Moshe Rabbeinu, he knew the secret of the parasha of Paraduma, and he did not understand. And because he did not understand, he was jealous, he started fighting him. And Shlomo Melech, he said, I am not like him, because even that I am Hacham, even that I am the most intelligent man in the world, I don't understand it. I have to accept it. ויהיה רחוקה ממני. Huh? You understand? Huh? Hello?
Yes, yes.
והיא רחוקה ממני. Now, my friend, I would like just to tell you that Korah, with all his wealth, all his Torah, he lost everything at the end. Why? Gava, the kavod, the kin'ah. When you don't respect those what the Torah tells you to do, so that means that you are clever. When the Torah said, "Item oto," that means if you don't look, you can do avera. If you don't look, you will not remember these mitzvot. Then you will not do them. If Hashem said you have to do it, you have to do it. Don't be very much clever. Even Shlomo Melech, he thought that he was clever by doing some few things that the Torah did not allow. Even that he did not do any avera, he was punished. A man should always be careful. When he's clever, when he's rich, when he's hacham, he should always remember to be batel, anava, be humble. Be humble, because God forbid, if you are not humble, you will enter to gava, then you will invite, then you will be jealous, and then you're going to be ridiculous, you will lose everything. You have to be very, very careful. So, Be'ez Hashem, I pray for you that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you bracha v'atzlacha, bריאות, parnasa tova, to everybody. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us, Be'ez Hashem. This is the connection between Korah and Paraduma, Parashat Hukat. It's because of the gava of Korah. He was jealous. This jealousy bring him. How he became jealous? Because he thought he knew everything. And when a man, if he thinks that he knew everything, so God forbid, he lose everything. And Hukat is things that we don't understand. Because a lot of people, they may ask questions, yes, why the Torah said give this mitzvah, but there is no reason for this mitzvah. Why we should do this mitzvah if we don't understand? What does that mean? You are Baal Gava, that means that you are more clever than Hashem. If Hashem gives you this mitzvah, He has a reason. Not because you don't understand the mitzvah, so there is no reason for this mitzvah to be. So this is the connection of these two parashiyot. So from here we understand how much a man should be anav, should be batel, humble, not to ask too much questions. By asking too much questions, you might feel, God forbid. And I wish you bracha v'atzlacha and a good week, Be'ez Hashem, and Shabbat Shalom.